What up, Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. On this channel, we talk about Kickstarter, Indigo, how to raise more money when it comes to a crowdfunding campaign, how to reach your full potential so you can bring more incredible products out there into the world, and really a strategy as to how to do that. So it's great if we're talking about motivation, right? We're talking about this is what you gotta do, right? But really I'm talking about strategy. I'm talking about what you need to do step by step by step. And I think that when it comes to tactics and strategy, one of the biggest ones out there is Sal. I believe in my product. I believe in this man, but I don't wanna be salesy, right? I don't wanna be pushing this on other people. I don't like the idea of promoting to others, right? I just don't want to do that. How do I get this out there? How do I do this? Because I know I gotta, at some point, engage marketing. So that's what I've really designed today's video to do, is how do you actually run a Kickstarter campaign without being salesy, without coming off as a kind of scummy salesperson. That's what I wanna cover in today's YouTube video. Again, my name is Salvador Briggman. I've been in the industry since 2012. I started my blog, crowdcrux.com, which is really kind of pioneering education when it comes to crowdfunding in this entire industry. I've written a bunch of different books out there. I've written books on real estate crowdfunding. I've written books on nonprofit crowdfunding. I've written books on equity crowdfunding. The Kickstarter launch formula obviously is my baby, and also personal crowdfunding and using GoFundMe. So I really have a lot of experience when it comes to this niche, understanding why people back campaigns. So what I want to deliver in today's video is to really help those people out there who don't want to be salesy, but do want to actually launch a campaign and do want to promote it and market it, but they just feel like there's something that's holding them back. So first, we're going to go through some of the ways you can actually get over this when it comes to your marketing itself and the tactics and strategy that go into that. And then we're going to cover something else, which is actually more rooted in why it is that you might want to promote this in the first place. Okay, so the first point that I want to make here, man, is that when it comes to actually promoting a campaign, or when it comes to getting funding for a campaign, a lot of the reasons why we think that things are salesy is that we're thinking in the same kind of dynamic as if I had created a product, I'm trying to sell it in a mall, or I'm trying to sell it on Amazon, or I'm trying to sell it through a Shopify store, or I'm trying to sell it on eBay, right? And you think that people are gonna kind of cringe away when they realize that you're just trying to push something on them, you're just trying to sell something, and they're really not gonna kind of, respond in the way that you might like. Well, I think that this is BS, right? If I could swear, I would. I think this is BS. And the reason is that you have the wrong way of thinking about this. You need to change your mindset. You need to change the way in which you're thinking about promoting your campaign. And here's why. You are not the salesperson. You are the inventor. You're the creator. You're the designer. You're the inspiration, right? You're the artist, man. You're the one who came up with a really cool product idea. And you need to have that frame when it comes to your marketing out there. When trying to actually build an audience, when trying to put out your promotions, etc. You need to really come from that frame that you are the inventor, you're the artist, you're the designer, you're the person who had this inspiration, who came up with this idea. You're not pushing it on other people, but you're enrolling them into this idea. So you're basically kind of changing the mindset from being a salesperson or being a marketer or promoter, just like that person that's kind of being very pushy, to being an inventor, to being a creator, to being an artist, right? And really trying to think about what are the differences between someone who's just very, very salesy and someone who is an artist, who is a creator, who is an inventor. And thinking about if you had the chance, for example, to meet the chef at a restaurant, like how cool would that be? You're meeting the person who actually is making the incredible dishes which you're able to eat, right? Or you can meet the inventor of someone who invented the iPhone or invented the light bulb. Like how cool would that be? You almost kind of cherish that moment more than you don't feel like they're just actually pushing their product. And you're like, no man, that is so cool that you made that. I love learning about this. I love learning about your inspiration. I love learning about the process that went into even making this. It is really exceptionally cool when you're able to meet an inventor, an artist, or a creator in any kind of way. Once you've actually internalized that and you're soaking the stuff up like a sponge, right? Then you need to really think about, okay, so now that I understand that and I've really made that mindset shift, how will this show up in my marketing and my communication? I'm gonna throw out a word and I want you to really think about this word. The word is co-creation. Co-creation. What does that mean? A lot of times when we're inventors or creators or writers, or I'm a writer obviously myself, loving writing books, etc. We like to kind of keep things to the chest. We're like, I created this, I did this, and our ego gets involved. Once you start to actually open it up a little bit and you allow other people to be involved in that creative process, it almost feels like they're creating this with you, right? And that's kind of actually very true when it comes to a Kickstarter Indigo campaign, is that this isn't fully fledged, right? They're creating this with you. They're becoming a part of the community. They're helping you fund this project, right? They may be even picking a color. You're getting their input in some way. Allow them to be a part of your community. Allow them to create with you. And all of a sudden they feel a sense of ownership as well around what it is that you've created. And when you create in that way, and when you become an owner almost, or feeling a sense of ownership over something, all of a sudden you take care of it more. You're willing to promote it more. You get more excited about it. Like, this is so cool. I've been in the journey since the beginning, right? And it's same way as if you've been following a YouTuber when they have like 1 subscriber and now they have 1 million, you just feel cool because you're part of the fandom, right? You're one of the hardcore fans. You were there from the beginning. You've seen how they've grown, how they've changed, right? How they've improved, etc. Right? And it's so freaking exciting to be a part of a community like that. So don't think about just creating, selling, getting something out there. Really try to think about how can I involve my community in the process of this creation. Could I ask their opinion? Could I ask what they think about this ad that I'm considering putting out there, right? Could I ask them, for example, what do they think when it comes to the colors that I'm going to be including? What do they think when it comes to how they would use this most frequently? Don't, come from the perspective of, oh my gosh, this is going to be scary. If I put this out there and ask these questions, they're going to get tons of hate. Really say like, hey, I'm an inventor. I'm trying to get this out there. This has been, so many people have already said great things about this. I would love to have your feedback, right? So this is something where the more you kind of get in that frame of co-creation, the better your marketing is going to become. The next is to tell a story, okay? People love stories. Like, stories are crack cocaine, right, for this generation. And I think it is for, honestly, human history. Like, human history, if you think about the drugs that we're all taking, it's really stories. We love to ingest stories. We need stories. Stories get us through the day, but they're also kind of what creates meaning in life. So you could just buy a rinky-dink new product that came out. But when you understand the story behind it, when you understand the story of the person who created it, when you understand the values as well, when it comes to that company, all of a sudden you value it more. When you're going into an art exhibit and you understand the story of the artist and what happened in their period in life and how this art like reflects that period almost, all of a sudden you start to appreciate that art much more than if it was just some random art that you saw on a wall. So story creates meaning. Story creates context. Story creates investment as well in a process. So the more you can tell the story of you actually inventing this product, coming up with these ideas, something that happened, you got your first prototypes in the mail, how exciting is this? You got your sketches done, you got this done, you got your CAD drawings done, right? The more you can tell this story through photos, through images, through captions, just kind of, dripping it out a little bit, people will start to listen, they'll start to see, they realize that something is coming, it's building towards something, it's building towards this mega launch, and they want to be a part of that story. How much would you love to be a part of some of the stories which you love when it comes to movies and TV shows? Maybe it's not a horror show, right? But if it's another kind of romance or something like an action movie, it'd be so freaking cool to be in that story. So allow other people to participate in your story. I'm gonna cover 2 more, and I do actually have a bunch here, but man, I wanna cover 2 more because I don't wanna make this video to be too long. So one is just understanding like the fact of trust, okay? So when you're trying to be a creator and trying to sell something in a not salesy way, the way you do that is by creating trust. And we call it actually trust when it comes to your brand. And I think that a lot of my students have actually done this exceptionally well. Some haven't done it as well. And this is something that I also struggle with because when you're trying to create trust, it's really about being radically transparent. And there's always that line as well when it comes to transparency. For example, I've had recently people who have discovered my personal Instagram, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of like weird because it's kind of like on the line, but I also like building the trust that way. So it's also something like, I'm like, okay, I got to put out more videos, for example, on my business Instagram, got to put more stuff on my TikTok. So it's really interesting to be able to interact with the audience in that way, but building trust is all based in transparency, right? So when it comes to you as a creator, you want to think about how can I be transparent? How can I be transparent when it comes to delays maybe that are happening? How can I be transparent when it comes to problems that we're working through, things that we're solving? We're getting this incredibly great resources for you when it comes to what the product is actually made of. We're sourcing this, we dealt with this issue, but we fixed that. Now we're gonna get this out there on time. Be transparent. The more transparent that you can be with your community, the more they're going to trust you. The more you're going to build credibility in their eyes. And it really builds credibility as well with your brand as a whole, because you're like, okay, if I buy something from this brand, it's going to be a well-made product. It creates trust, right? People feel emotions towards brands. That's what a brand is all about, is that it's not about an individual, it's what does that brand stand for? What do they care about? What are their values? What are their visions? And when you actually believe that because you've seen evidence of it, all of a sudden you feel that real emotion towards a brand. If you throw out certain brands, you're going to associate high quality and luxury and good products with them, versus other brands you're going to say like, oh, that's actually not a very good quality brand. I would never buy something. I don't trust those guys, right? You don't know who works there at that company. You don't even maybe know who the founder is, but you have that association with that brand. So you need to build trust through transparency and communication. And the more you do that, the more that people are not going to see you as salesy, but as actually doing something really good in the world, and they're going to love your company's brand. The next step is to think about your vision and your values. Okay, so if you're trying to build an organization, any kind of organization, a political organization, a nonprofit organization, a religious organization, a corporation, what do they always try to focus on? They always try to focus on your vision and your values, because the vision is what you want to achieve, what you want to have happen in the world. When people connect with your vision, all of a sudden there's an emotional meaning behind their purchase, right? They're actually doing something and they're sharing messages, for example, of things that you're putting out there on social media. They're doing that because they believe in your vision. So when you can be vocal about your vision, vocal about your values as well, maybe you value the fact that we only are making products made in the USA, or we're only making products that are made out of ethically sourced, eco-friendly materials. We're only making products that are going to actually work well, be robust, and are going to last you a long time, right? Think about what your values are as a company, because those values will actually translate, and more people can see evidence of those values. For example, you maybe were trying to make a product and you didn't like how this one prototype made because it wasn't perfect, and then all of a sudden you did it better and now it's great. They see evidence of your perfectionism, which is maybe a value of yours, right? Then they're going to believe you as you're going through this campaign as well, that you're going to deliver on your promises. So you're no longer being salesy, you're actually trying to put good values out there into the world. You're trying to actually create a compelling vision of the future for people that are part of your consumer base, or people that are, enjoying your products. So the more you can think about what is your vision as a company, as a visionary, as an inventor, as a creator, what do you really want to do in the world, right? What are some of the values that you have, you as a company, and you start to write these down. It's even creating like rudimentary brand guidelines, I would say. The easier the marketing gets, because you're no longer being pushy, you're actually attracting people who agree with your vision, who agree with your values, and you're creating this really tight-knit, very well-bonded community. Want to take all the stress out of fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards? Fulfillrite is the turnkey solution that puts product delivery on autopilot. The Top Campaigns uses trusted high-tech provider to store, package, and ship their products. Focus on growing your business. Leave shipping to the experts. Don't wait. Get a custom quote from Fulfillrite today. Link in the description. So I'm actually going to share that bonus tip that I wasn't going to share before. So I'll share that with you because I really do want to talk about this. I'm so excited about this topic. But one other quick thing is that if you are interested, you can always book a one-on-one coaching call with me down below. If you want to discuss this, how this applies to your project. If you also want to talk about what do you have to do in order to get this in order when it comes to your launch, to really have a compelling launch, to make sure you really hit and exceed your goal when it comes to a crowdfunding campaign, go down below. You can book a one-on-one intensive coaching call with me, and we can go through your entire marketing strategy. And if you're in the very early phases of a campaign, I can have the most impact in those phases. And even if you're going, right, a lot of ways in which I can jump on when it comes to helping with execution, etc. So you can talk about that. You can book a one-on-one coaching call down below. And also check out my book, The Kickstarter Launch Formula, which talks a lot about this, talks about how do you actually get people to back your campaign without feeling salesy, etc. So go and check out the book, The Kickstarter Launch Formula. And actually Audible is doing a promo. Audible is doing a promo, I just remembered, and they are doing this thing where you can actually get a free copy of The Kickstarter Launch Formula if you sign up for a free 30-day trial of Audible, which is pretty cool, pretty great deal. So go and check that out down below. You can learn more about the Kickstarter Launch Formula. So the next tip, the next thing that I want to share in this video is really about community. And to kind of understand this, like even just thinking about my own community, right? So I've built, Kickstarterforum.org. I built up multiple groups when it comes to LinkedIn, Facebook, thousands of people, etc. And I've really tried to understand what goes into building a community, as well as for my clients, for the people, my students that I've worked with before, helping them build 1,000-person plus groups before they go live with a campaign, right? This is something that I've really tried to understand the psychology of this so that you can have a more powerful launch, so you don't have to be salesy, but you have a community of people that are clamoring and they want you to go live with this. And almost feel angry if you didn't do it, right? When you feel a sense of motivation, it's almost like being compelled in a way, right? So the same way you have like an Apple, you have a new Apple release or something like that, and all the Apple fanboys and fangirls line up at the door and they're just clamoring. They're like, when is this thing going to actually be, the store going to open so I can buy one of these products, right? That's what I mean when it says a raving fan community. This is what I want to talk about now. So the way you create this community is not only aligning the different things we talked about, so vision and values, the creator mentality versus the salesperson mentality, sharing stories, etc. And not only doing that, but also encouraging connection within the community itself through prompts, through questions, and really trying to build up to something, build up to an excitement. The more you can build up to an event, it's almost like this fury of activity starts to happen in that community. People get so excited. It's like they're bubbling over, right? And then you go live and all of that activity transitions and spills into your crowdfunding campaign. It's one of the most exciting components of doing a campaign, in my opinion. So community building is definitely something that you can do. There is a strategy to it. We can talk about that in a coaching call, but this is something that if you incorporate this into your strategy, you're no longer being salesy, because again, these people are clamoring for you to actually even come out with this product. So you're no longer selling. It's like people are almost coming to you and they're just pleading like, please, please come out with this product. So a lot of times people are like, Sal, I want to learn more about your vision. I want to learn more about your values, right? When it comes to CrowdCrux as an organization. And this is really what motivates my team. This is what motivates people when it comes to my community. And I think that for me, the biggest vision that I have is to empower, whether it's humankind or the world or you, really to empower people to reach their full potential. And the reason why I try to do that is that I think that when you reach your full potential, you can then have a ripple effect. You can impact so many other people out there around the world. So whether that's bringing new ideas into the world, new products, new projects, new education, which is needed. Oh my gosh, this is something I'm personally passionate about, is just having good quality education out there to help people, right? To help people when it comes to going step by step through a process. Not only that, but to bring them really great education when it comes to podcast interviews, so they're inspired and motivated and they're seeing what works behind the scenes for other incredible creators that are raising 6 and 7 figures. Like, this is something that I am passionate about. This is my vision, is to really empower humankind and to help you reach your full potential by doing these different things. So you can get a product out there into the world. And again, if I impact one person to get an incredible, successful product out there, it has a ripple effect and impacts all of their customers as well. So we really try to work, obviously, with creators who want to do that as well, who want to have an impact of some kind. And finally, I'd say, when it comes to my values, the biggest value that I have is you gotta be ruthless. You gotta be ruthless about taking action, right? That's the number one thing that separates my community from everyone else out there. We don't just talk, we freaking take action. We are taking action step by step through this process. We are hungry, we are motivated, we are excited. We do want to do good things. We are empathetic, right? But when it comes to taking action, when it comes to actually being aggressive, when it comes to really, making sure that we're taking steps towards our goals, we are ruthless about that. And I love that about you guys. So thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. If you haven't yet, give me a thumbs up on this video, come subscribe, comment down below if you want to show some love and you want to show some support as well for this channel. Thank you so much. My name is Sal, and I will see you next time.